Pecha Kucha 265, Inktober 2021, week 5. So, final week of what has been the best and worst Inktober I've had. I've done some of the greatest work, but I fell off the bike. And really this week was about figuring out what to do going forward and why I fell off the bike and how to kind of renegotiate the bad habits I've got that put me in that position. What I decided to do was think about the way I use reference. Reference isn't a crutch, it's a tool. Like anything else, you lean on it too much, it becomes a crutch. So I just took a picture of Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop, and I'm like, let me just internalize it to externalize it. I'm going to keep drawing it, looking at it, not looking at it, figure out how to draw Cowboy Bebop, Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. What can I pick up about the landmarks on his face? And of course, this helps me. I'm drawing one of the coolest manga characters there is. And can I put myself in a headspace where I challenge the way I operate, I challenge the way I think, and I ultimately can find myself getting better results without putting on airs and saying, oh, I don't need reference, I'll figure it out myself. And what I found drawing Spike Spiegel is that some of the landmarks of his face just conform to traditional human anatomy, but like the nose and the hair from different angles might not be the same 3D shape. But as I was doing this, I was internalizing sensibilities and trying to focus on what I was doing. And what I found is that just by looking at stuff that was worth internalizing, it enabled me to externalize back onto the Ryu images I did last week, so that they came across as more, I don't want to use the word homogeneous, but they're more streamlined and more what I thought they were going to be the first time, because it's really about the headspace you put yourself in so that your hand can just do what it's supposed to do. I also this week watched a Let's Play of Alien Isolation, which is simultaneously one of the best Alien franchise games and one of the best horror games ever made. I would have loved to have played it if I still actually played horror games, but I did my tour of service. I'm done. No more of that for me. But I will say the main character has what I can only describe as A1 level Batman grade plot armor. The game's not that long, but she survives things that should kill her so frequently. It's preposterous, but horror games always are. I would recommend it if I'd played it. Also this week, because November is next week and Daily Sketch is coming back, I went looking for images on behalf of the Mystic Moor. I want to do some animals. I was looking at portraits. I got some stuff. I'm not too bothered about it. Like I was saying to him, we can figure out, I got 30 images, but I'm like, we should probably average one every 2 days. So it's not that important what we do. But what I want to do with these images coming out of this month is figure out how to ink them using a G pen and use manga style production methods. This is an image I decided I wanted to trial this out with. So I just looked at the image, constructed it using a chalk brush pen, and then I decided to vectorize and G pen it as a separate production schedule after I'd kind of ironed out all the details. His glasses are perfect circles. I used the circle vector tools, and I'm always happy when I use vector tools and it just works. Doesn't happen often. It was pleasant. His head wrap is a perfect example for me to see if I can follow form using delicate line work without just losing my mind. Touch and go, but I think ultimately I followed the form. I'm happy with the results. And when I was working on his beard, the guy's got a white beard and I'm drawing it in black, and I'm like, how am I going to address this when it comes to rendering? And also, how am I going to draw his beard without it turning into a clusterfuck of line work? I managed to get by. You can get away with a lot when you just do gestural line work. So this is where I was when I decided I think I've probably done enough lines. I didn't want to overly commit to kind of cross-hatching. One of the core things of this is acknowledging that I fell off the bike this month because I did too much fucking cross-hatching, and I love to see it, but I don't enjoy doing it. So I was like, let's just do what people do in manga. Let's apply grayscale, and let's see if I can find a match between creating form and light using brushwork and then just using values. So I started doing, the broad grays, and what I've done, which I don't typically do, is I've actually put a window within the window of the actual image in grayscale, so I can literally kind of color pick and check my values against the values of the image, because I'm very poor at picking actual grey tones, and that's something I need to practice on. And this is effectively where I ended up, where I thought, I don't think I can take it any further without tripping over my own feet. I'm going to use this production method going forward next month, and we're going to see what happens. I also recorded myself doing it. Who knows, maybe I'll upload that. I also found time to do my Tuesday Bison on Friday because, well, that makes sense. He's reading the paper because, the whole point of these is it's just an excuse to draw a frivolous image without me having to feel concerned about the results. I think I nailed his expression, and I just came in with my typical laissez-faire, lazy-ass colouring. And I think these are the only things right now propping up my ego, because I don't know, they work for me. So that's the end of my Inktober 2021. Maybe I'll go back to directly using prompts next year. Effectively, next Inktober will end me making my manga book. We'll see if any of that's remotely true this time next year. But that's the end of Pecha Kucha 265. Next week I will be reviewing a how to draw manga book while I try to conceptualize the plot of my manga behind closed doors. It's a Western book, so I might be a little harsh in this review. You'll see why then.